are expert in international relations between countries. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah. So,
Matt, let me interrupt you after I just threw it to you. Do you have your audio?
Yes.
Do you have
the US.
Are you recording? Are you recording on your end?
Yeah. Let's get everything going.
So we have
audio
a
hijack.
little backup.
Sessions.
Coté, what did you have for dinner tonight? That's what everyone likes to hear too. I think it sounded very good. There was pastries involved, but they were Dutch.
I wasn't. I had an executive wine thing, so I skipped dinner.
Nice.
There we go.
I don't really drink the wine
Are you still
during
doing
the event.
Is it still doing virtual?
Oh yeah. Like I don't drink the wine during the event anymore, but I do have now. I have
anymore. What happened?
That's some pro talk. More lessons learned.
Rosé, and I had the red wine earlier, which is from Lebanon of all places. But anyways, I didn't have dinner, so I thought maybe I would just get by without having dinner tonight because I had a late cheese snack. But I actually got hungry, and then I made some fried rice, put a little egg on top. And I ate that and it was delicious and I should have been done. But then I was like, oh, look, there's a Danish that my mom got. And so I went over and I bit into it and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is not a Danish. It's a typical like Dutch thing where it looks like a Danish. It's twirled up bread, but it's just got like really oud, or how would you say, oudkaas, like, just very sharp cheese on it, melted on it. And so that's what I ate. And then I ate 2, as the British would say, biscuits with chocolate on it, and I just ate too much.
Should have stopped at the fried rice. Cookies, right?
A cookie, yeah. Cookie. When I think of the word biscuit in this sense, I think of like a cookie that just like was like fuck it and stopped trying. It's just
that's not the case. Like, in the English, but in the English, that's a cookie. They don't mean it that way. They mean like they're legitimate cookies.
Well, it's like a biscuit that you get in a bag. Right, like maybe Chips Ahoy, like you get in a bag that's not soft, like it's crispy. It's like, I guess they do call just straight up, like if they were to get an American chocolate chip cookie, I guess they would call it a biscuit. It's just that seems inappropriate, but whatever. I think we call in the States we call a pudding like a viscous dessert soup, which I don't think they call it that over in jolly old England. So maybe we can just trade those out and neutralize them.
Yeah.
You don't like viscous dessert soup?
No, that's not going on my menu.
But I don't know. I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah,
right, back to Matt. International relations, Australia versus the United States.
International relations. Enough of Coté's dinner.
Yeah.
Let's,
now that we've covered biscuits, let's cover the international relations between Australia and who is it? The United States or someone else? What's going on?
So yeah, the U.S., the U.K., and Australia announced a new submarine technology alliance. Trading some tech, and
but the French are pissed, apparently. Right?
What's that?
Are the French mad? Are they mad?
Yeah, the French are mad because the Australians canceled a big submarine order.
I see.
With Thales or something.
Oh, okay.
Huh? Yeah.
So we just ELA'd them. We just ELA'd the French. We're like, hold on, before you sign off on that submarine. We have a lot of other things that we can throw in the ELA.
Yeah. The U.S. is giving free submarine credits out, and like,
just totally undermined. Some like media. We're like, we'll send you.
Sure, yeah.
We'll throw you like MGM Studios, like some new movies, maybe some.
Throw
beef,
some movies to Gold Coast. Yeah, Australia's probably getting some movies
from you or something. I don't know.
And Australia probably offered some free coverage on Fox News or something. But the best part was during the presentation, President Biden seemed to have forgotten the Prime Minister of Australia's name.
It happens.
It happens. But the problem is for Australia, it happens a lot.
I mean, I don't think like you can probably criticize and make fun of that for a lot of reasons, but like I have a hard time remembering people's names. Like I would be so hard. I would have it like tattooed or like a little handwritten right on my hand. Like,
I would have it on my hand, and I would be like, but the way he recovers is he calls it he says thank you very much, pal. I want to thank the fella down under.
Oh, did he really say that?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The fella down under.
And Australians love it. They're like, way to stick Scott Morrison, ScoMo in his place, and people are like, well, at least he didn't call him Trumbull. The last prime minister's last name was Turnbull, and the press guy for Trump called him Trumbull, and Trump hung up on him because he's from the Liberal Party, thinking that he was, on the left, when in Australia the Liberal Party is on the right. Trump hated the guy before the call started because he thought he was from the left. And, and the guy was like,
didn't get
from Fox News.
Oh, he didn't get like the pre-brief, like the executive pre-brief. Like, no, okay, this is who we're meeting.
Come on, this was Trump. He didn't care.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He didn't have a State Department. He made it up.
Well, on behalf of the United States, Matt, I want to apologize to you, and I want to say, like, I don't think the United States meant any harm. It was an honest mistake. Honest mistake.
Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of it. As a permanent resident of Australia, I say, please more. Because Australians lap it up. They think it's hilarious.
Listen, everybody in Australia I don't know what time it is there now. I guess it's early in the day, but it's too early.
7 a.m.
Take the afternoon off. Everyone go get a drink and be like, hey, you know what happens?
We can't. We're in lockdown.
Okay.
Drink on your porch.
Good point. Listen,
and then when the prime minister throws a press conference in your yard, go yell at him, because that.
Well, it seems
we had that video a while back.
I don't know what we can do. Maybe we can help you out with the vaccine more or something. Maybe we should
do something like
that. I think we're about to pass the U.S.
You just gotta stay in bed and have a drink.
That's good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. The nice thing about a small country is you can catch up really fast.
I did notice I had someone moved to Australia that I worked with the other day, and I'm always like, oh, I wonder where this is. And then it's like, really everything in Australia is pretty close to Matt, is what I figured out. Like, you can generally figure out, like, there's just that one, I don't know, was it the South?
Most everything's on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of east-south. It's like pretty much that's where everybody is. There's not really any, I don't know anyone in like Perth. I was like, I wonder if I worked with anyone in Perth.
Yeah, Perth's like,
never.
That's like El Paso to Texas. Nobody remembers that it's over there.
It's like, all right.
It's true. You're like, wait, there's a city of 1 million people in Texas and I forget what it's called. Right. And it's like, oh yeah, it's in a different time zone.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Should we talk? Should we? All right. What do we got here? We got 2 ads this week, Mr.
Two ads.
2 ad breaks.
I think we got a bunch of Apple news. I don't know that much about it. I am very excited about I think it's what is today? September. Is it 25th? The new iPad OS is coming out. That looks got 20th. A lot of features.
Yep, the 20th, I think.
And then we've got some work from home study that I haven't had the time to read all of, but that seems fine. And I can never, I'm going to be honest. I like all the work that Tyler Jewell guy does. I did some work with him when I was back at Dell, but I never really actually read his entire posts because it's just too much.
Which thing?
It's like the developer-led landscape, :
Oh, well, there's a good quote of him. I think it's the money quote, which someone else dug out of it. I think our friend Michael Neal over there from Down Under. Michael, that fellow from Down Under, he was the one that dug that out. It was just funny. It was like, basically never build developer tools, because you could basically see there's like 1 million people doing it, chasing very little revenue in comparison to everything else.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was sort of the thing there. It's like, so don't build developer tools, maybe build the backend for enterprise software, because they got some money, but definitely build a design company. Look at this. Canva.
Yep.
$40 billion. Billion with a B. It's like, whoa.
Are they Australian?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they're calling them like the next Atlassian around here.
Well, I don't know what Atlassian's worth. They may be bigger than
that. Well, then they're Australian. That's the point. That's
okay. Yeah. Okay. And then of course, MailChimp newsletters worth $12 billion. So you can tie all that together if you think that's interesting, Coté. That basically tells you developer tools worthless, newsletters $12 billion, design $40 billion, and I don't know. The backend as a service, we'll see.
Why this Canva thing looks like Adobe Spark?
Yeah.
Why is that worth $40 billion?
Probably they tie all the marketing stuff together with the design stuff.
Oh, man.
It doesn't matter, but just think if you're in a room and someone's like, hey, we should build a really good development environment and get people to pay for it. Someone should immediately tackle that person and be like, no, we should build a design tool. Like that's always the meeting. The meeting should always be that: do not build a developer experience tool, build a design tool. And I think these numbers bear that out.
Because some developer will try to make it for free. We're looking at you, Cal.
Yeah, and then there's also like 1 million developers will also try to create the similar tools because there's like 1 million companies.
So are we going to talk about Cal.com? Like, how are they going to make money? Is it just consulting services around like tying your calendar to Salesforce or?
Yeah, well, we can talk that.
Wait, I still want to know why this company is worth $40 billion. They seriously are like.
Well, it's not. You're not going to find it by reading that article.
No, I'm looking at their website. It looks like they have a case study of American Airlines, and we work not one of us anymore, but we work at a big company. There's always some internal branding site you go to, and it just like lists a bunch of shit. Like they have that's what they do for American Airlines, and it's like, well, is that $40 billion?
Well, remember, they got 200 million on a $40 billion valuation. So,
okay.
So it's that kind of thing. They haven't IPO'd, so
valuations aren't worth that until you actually have that.
Okay. I didn't realize it was just that.
But still, it does. Recently, the private valuations have generally been lower, if not lower than the public valuation. Doesn't mean that will carry on forever, right? But so.
All right. Well, let me.
Figma's got a lot of customers though, and the subscription model, and people like that stuff.
Yeah. No, I think Figma has taken over from. I feel like that's sort of the new standard, right?
Figma.
Can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's Visio for the web.
Visio for the web.
Well, it's like the design.
Well,
it's the design.
Yeah, more like
InDesign.
Illustrator.
Illustrator.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I guess Illustrator's a better.
That fella down
and Adobe's got to have like Illustrator online, right?
They've had it that way for a long time, where you had to buy the subscription, but everyone's like angry by it. So,
and then they all dealt with it, and Adobe's making a hand over fist money.
Hand to fist money.
All right, Coté, whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, I showed this to you too before we started the program. I'm not going to hold it up to here because we have video, but I received a bill from the hospital, the OLVG, as we would say it in angles, for some stuff my daughter had done there, which is fine. And on the bill, you have all sorts of stuff presented. Now, I've had to file some health insurance claims because I've got weird expat health insurance, and then I've switched over to this insurance, and now this hospital, they keep sending a bill for items that have occurred over a 6-month period where I switched health insurance, and they just get all confused because they try to get insured to one place, and they're like, we didn't cover them, and then it's just madness. So too bad for them. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. About midway through in the header, there's, you got the start date of the service, the end date. This is, of course, all in Dutch. And, diagnosis information. And then all of a sudden you come to a field. I don't know if this is Dutch, but it says, I was going to try to pronounce it in Dutch, but I don't know if you could. It says hash code. and this field, I didn't count the characters, but I think it's just like a 64 or 128 character hash code. Like if you ask, and it looks like if you ask 1Password to generate you the strongest password possible. And the thing is, it's printed on here, right? And I could get it, if you're in your is it EMR, your electrical. I'm going to start electrical email, your electrical medical records.
Yeah.
I can see that maybe for debugging and troubleshooting, you would put it there to cut and paste, but this is a printed bill. And I just unless there's going to be, now there is a new version of iOS. I'm very excited about the iPad OS 15 shipping on, I think, September 25th, or is it 20th?
20th.
I forget.
September 20th.
Oh, so many. We might need to dedicate a whole episode when that comes out.
We're an Apple podcast now, baby. We're going.
I want to talk about this at some point because I think it might have some positive dramatic effects in my defaults lifestyle quest. There's a lot going on there. But so maybe if you're using that, where every photo you can extract text from, don't they call that magic photos?
Yeah, live text. I think it's live text.
So sure, maybe it works for that. But I'm just thinking like I wanted to ask you two, and maybe anyone who's listening, why would you print a hash code on anything? It just seems like now we know that there's no reason, but it's also sort of like my diagnosis is that they should definitely call us up at VMware Tanzu, because their programmers have like lost sight of customer experience if somehow they have let slip through a hash code printed on their bills.
What do you think? What is it hashing? Like what date?
Who knows?
I guess that's the part.
It could
we
be
just
like,
don't know.
It could be the hash of the entire bill.
So it's not a GUID. You're sure it's not?
It could be anything.
Well, it's not, okay, maybe
it could. Let me just make the positive case.
Okay,
they're like, well, we do generate these incredibly long global unique identifiers, which almost all software behind the scenes does. And sometimes, as we all know, sometimes like you're just like, if I just had the GUID, right? If like I'm in support,
always,
or like especially a support engineer, like, gosh, if I just had the GUID, and so they could just do it like as a fail safe. It's like, listen,
that's true.
Nobody cares. Nobody knows what this is. Let's just print it out in case the thing gets lost or someone comes in. At least we got the GUID sitting there, so we can go figure out what's going on.
But that's such a failure, because that's saying that they can't look up this bill based off of like, last name, account number, and invoice number. They're like, oh yeah, the hash is one way. We can never find out, what went into that thing. You're going to have to read off that 64 character thing over the phone.
Yeah, that is, it shows you how long it's been since I was programming. I was confusing hash code with GUID, but you're right. A hash code is just like, I guess you just take the bill and just generate the hash code.
Yeah, you could take all of that. You could take the name, address, all that information and hash it, and if you wanted to, like down to some number. But I'm with you, Matt. I mean, I'm not gonna defend it. I guess my last defense would be like, you're right. You should do all of that. But we've all seen software systems where they're like, well, sadly we can't do that. But if we had the GUID, right? And like sometimes the GUID is inside, view source.
There's some product manager.
Yeah,
there's some product manager who got the tickets and they're like, well, customers can't find their tickets. What's the solution? Give them the GUID. Okay, that sounds fine. And they didn't like they made that snap decision where they're like, wait. Nobody thought through what give them the GUID means. Oh, it means give them 128 characters of gibberish that they're going to have to read over the phone to some, out of country call center where they're going to have to, be like, wait, did you say pound or hash? And they're like, it's the same thing. No. I've got a British keyboard. It's LB. Like, wait, what? No.
This raises another theory. I guess I could validate this, but whenever I call people around here, it always is someone who, they sound. I mean, obviously they start speaking Dutch, right? And then they'll shift to English, and they have that accent. They have the Dutch accented English, and it made me start thinking, like, I wonder if there are like so few Dutch speakers in the world that effectively you can't like outsource and offshore Dutch customer service, because like you just can't find people outside of the Netherlands and like Suriname and the Dutch Antilles or whatever they are.
Aruba. Aruba down there.
Right. And so, maybe
we're talking about huge populations.
But there's just so you're just sort of like, I guess all the call centers for the Netherlands are in the Netherlands, right? Like, and they're all just in there, and there's no
there's going to be like some AI spring that just wipes out all the like secondary language call centers, and they're like, you know what, Amazon's what do they call their Poly, some voice to text thing that can handle Dutch. It's going to just wipe out all those things, because it'll only be 95% good, but it'll also be like 10% of the price.
This maybe the day of reckoning will come when Dutch ships in the native iOS translate stuff. Have you noticed? I'm sure you two have been tracking this in your Apple following. The translations are coming out, but they do not have Dutch in it. They've got all sorts of other languages.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Do they have Flemish? I'm just wondering, are they purposely boxing them in where they're like, we got Flemish, we got French, we got English, we got Danish, but screw the Dutch.
They might have like whatever it is Laplanders speak. Is that
because they've got a lot of call centers?
Yeah, I mean, they would have to staff their own call centers, I guess. Yeah. So, if you find me during this recording like non-responsive, it's because I'm trying to type in this hash code.
7, 4, H.
All right, I got it right at the. I'll edit right at the type in the hash code. That was good.
Oddly enough, let me look at this. It only has 2 special characters, a plus sign and an equal. Like, how is it that out of like so many characters, you're just not throwing in more stuff?
All right, Coté, your homework. Your homework from this is to like find out what it is. Like next time you're at the, maybe at the doctor's office, be like, hey, what's this? What is this?
What I need to do is call them up, and I'll be like, sprek 2 angles. Oh, thank you. And I'll say like, I spilled some water on this bill, and all I can see is this field called hash code. So can you help me look this up?
But it actually is labeled hash code. It's labeled hash code?
Yeah, it's labeled hash code.
I can't really see it. That's why it's like, okay, wow. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I thought you had a new monitor. Would you get a small one?
I do, but like I got like 17 windows going. Anyway, that's a whole nother issue. All right, well, I don't know. Good luck with that. Hash codes it is. Hash codes for everyone. So.
There's another thing, just some random title.
I forgot to mention the sponsor. Hey, everybody should go see our friends at Strong DM, because guess what? Strong DM raised a whole bunch of new money. So everyone go out,
very good,
sign up and get a free account. Tell them your friends at Software Defined Talks sent you. And just for anyone looking for advertising, causation correlation, you make your own decisions. Advertise on Software Defined Talk, raise over $40 million. I don't know. You make your own conclusions how that happens. It's pretty. Congrats to them. Anyway, Coté, you were saying what was?
Oh, I said there's another header. I'm not going to read the actual number. I'm going to change it around, but just randomly in the header it says 15S345.
Okay, that could just be like an account number or something. That seems pretty small.
Or maybe that's the form number. Which email was it?
Yeah, could be that phone. And there's also a QR code at the bottom.
This is the same group that comes up with the IRS numbers. This is like this is a 1040 easy.
Oh, you have a
1099.
Yeah, is it an int or an F?
And 1099-int-miss. That's my favorite, when they're just like, well, let's just go miss. Like what who knows? So I don't know, it's good to see though. Countries come together. We're all using the same naming conventions.
All I know is Coté needs to be a keynote speaker at the Dutch Blockchain Coalition's next event.
Nice.
That would be great. If that's like some kind of blockchain NFT kind of thing, then we'll know it's gone mainstream. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Snake oil is mainstream.
Hold on, let me write that title down. Right there, snake oil.
Man, I had to explain NFTs to my parents the other day.
I'm gonna redirect. If anyone comes at us, Matt,
that's fine.
You're taking the feedback on that snake oil combat.
Yeah, me and
we got a lot of Twitter. We got a lot of issues. Not a lot of, but felt like we had to respond. All right, Coté, ready whenever you are.
What was I going to talk about? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, in our previous segment, which is what I'm going to start calling parts of the shows, segments, I mentioned I'm excited about the iPad OS 15 release coming out when, Brandon?
20th.
That's right. Oh, so today's the 16th. Just a few more days. Just got to sleep 4 more times. I think you
don't have to sleep, Coté. And if you stay up long enough, it'll just kind of blur into it, and it'll be the 20th.
It's like Christmas for you, Coté.
I think the thing is, if I could stay up 3 days straight, I won't know if it's that day or not, and it'll be
exactly.
But I think maybe I'll be able to catch it a little earlier, being over here in the land of hash codes on bills, and I'll benefit from it. But here's what there's a lot of features in there. I'm not going to be able to go over all of them. There's a lot of features and notes. I'm looking for, I think long-term listeners know I'm always struggling. Should I just start using Apple Notes, right? Because right now I use GoodNotes and I use Bear and I also use Drafts. And I feel like I just need the one place where I can write with the pencil and then I can also type in text. Now, the major thing, there's 2 things, but the major thing that has kept me from using Notes is that on the iOS things, you can't make your text into a link. And it just seems so annoying. And then also like just, I don't know, there's little things here and there, but that's the major problem I have.
What about the graph paper? That used to be like your own custom background.
Okay.
That was your number one, I thought.
That's the other major / minor thing is like
you're never getting that. I'm just telling you now. You're never getting that feature.
I know. I just want that in there. There are hacks around it, but whatever. And also, I just can't get used to the idea of the infinite scrolling page. I want a page that like ends, like GoodNotes is. But whatever. This absurdity is the point of what I want to add. I want some consulting from you too. What I want is like, I want to try to make a decision, but I cannot be the one who establishes the criteria for it because, I'm biased. So I need like 3 points of criteria that when I try out the new notes for a little while, that if I pass this criteria, I should have a longer term commitment to using it. Or if the criteria don't pass, then I don't, I can still elect to use it, but it means that I don't have to, right? But I need something.
I think with the vast number of note-taking apps that they have, you should, give it a day or two, whatever, and then at the end of it is think to yourself, is there anything that I've seen somewhere else that I like better? And then you're done. And if the answer is yes, move on. You're done with that because there's like 50 more choices you have to try out. So you need to try each and every one of them.
I like this. This is like a clean slate. I'm just like
build on Matt's thing. So I mean, this would be like delete the other notes apps from your phone. Only put the default notes app on there, right? Then commit to some period of time. I think it probably needs to be 3 weeks, right?
Oh, wow, 3 weeks.
Exactly. So
that's a lot of commitment because then you've got like data gravity setting in here.
I agree, but I'm like drawing on. I don't know. I mean, this is probably just some kind of fake fact that it's not really true, but like I like 3 weeks to make a habit or something like that. Like it's just sort of like you have to like that's what you're trying to do. You're like trying to create a new cognitive default rule, right? And then if you've made it 3 weeks and it's kind of faded to the background, it's just no longer something that annoys you when you see it, or you're like, I wish I could do this other thing. You're good. But if at the end of the 3 weeks you're like, I really miss my graph paper, I got to have that graph paper. Then that it's not right for you, and you should switch back to your favorite one. That's how I do
see.
it.
Okay. So we've got 2 criteria. They're a little complicated. Well, one of I like the first one, which is start
cut your losses and move on.
The Matt Ray's criteria is take as we used to call it in the Rick Perry days, a zero budget approach, which is like zero out all your expectations and use it and see if there are anything that you feel is missing. Now, the trick here is and I've experienced this, there's something called like the Zettel method or something. And I'm always thinking like, oh, I should start using that method. And then I'll go like look into using Obsidian. And it's just gold plating. It's like, I don't really need that complicated of a note-taking system. And so like, I just got distracted and I remember that. So maybe there are some features I think I need. Maybe it's even my own custom background of vintage graph paper that I actually don't need, and I'll be just fine without. But I've got to do the clean slate. And then Brandon's recommendation is basically just to do it for 3 weeks and see if it sticks. Which I think is a good
other things to try. That's the problem. Like there's a world of note-taking apps out there. And if you commit 3 weeks, you're going to just settle for like the second or third one because you're like, I give up.
Well, but the primary motive, there are 2. Okay, so on maybe the third criteria is, are there some unique features or some features that make it compelling to use the Apple Notes thing, right? Now, I think I didn't discover, but I actually use this one. There's a quick note feature, which is pretty compelling, that if you just you can just from your lock screen create a note, especially if you have a pencil, you just touch the pencil to it and boom, it pops into a note. And that, obviously, I don't know if that Supreme Court ruling about Epic is covering access to the Quick Note API, but that's clearly one of those things that like you're only going to get from like the defaults lifestyle, right? Like it's just like it's not.
You got that. So what about the syncing? What about syncing across all the devices?
Oh yeah, so syncing's fine. That works great.
But I mean, is that like a pro?
Stakes, right?
Is that something that
Yeah, no, that works on all my other devices. I'm not being dismissive. That is a good a good feature. That's table stakes for all the
that's
stuff
important though. Yeah, you need to establish like what you refuse to do without. And to me, that if you're part of the default lifestyle, they have to hit the defaults.
Now, okay, so the second thing, right? The second thing. Now, there's some other features in there. Like there's this idea of it looks like you can attach a note to some other object. So if I went to a web page in Safari and I wrote some note associated with it, then when I go back to visit that web page, I'll see the note. I don't know what I would do with that, but that's interesting. Now, but this is potentially the killer feature of notes, is including 1Password, including like weblogging, Flickr, Google Photos, everything that you would use to collaborate with a family member. All of those things. Google Notes is the only thing that I have consistently gotten my wife to use.
Google Notes or Apple Notes?
Sorry, Apple Notes. Apple Notes. Yeah. Right. Uh-huh. We're like, we'll have a to-do list, things that we need to do. And then of course, one of us will just sort of like use, noise waves traveling through air as the to-do list, which is fine. Right. Like I like to write those things down, but like I will put it in Apple Notes and then we both end up using it.
And then you share it, right? You just share the note. You share it. I think that's fantastic. I do that a lot.
And that is like, I feel like I have this beachhead on like, enterprise collaboration in my family life. And if I could just keep pushing on that beachhead, and then finally,
well, you know who's going to undermine you is Google, right? Because my kids, like, they've got Google Classrooms for everything, right? And so two of them, are Google, and then one of them is in Microsoft, right? Where all their schoolwork is in like OneNote, and they're using OneNote. The Office 365. But like my public school kids are in the Google world, right? So they're all about Google Docs and spreadsheets and pages, and sharing those and collaborating. And then my daughter is over in Microsoft land, and she's got stuff, and that puts up a barrier to like and then when they're like, well, what do you want for your birthday, or what do you want for Christmas? Boom, here's a Google Sheet. So like. Google's one of the future, I guess. But Microsoft's got a good toehold in there
Google.
Too.
I think I don't know. You got time.
That's my point. Is they're undermining Apple.
I think you still got time, Coté. Like, listen, your kids are not quite. They're not
you
quite.
You got homeschool them, Coté. Apple doesn't. Apple's not in the schools. You can't let Google and Microsoft in, or you're just going to mess up your default.
One more feature for you, Coté, in the notes. Have you done the scan feature in notes?
No, I haven't done that.
That's another good one. That basically, it's kind of like your own little scanner. Just in the note, click like take picture. It scans it. It's another nice one.
That sounds cool.
Because I should try that, because I do have the scanner app by Readle. I use all the time.
Yeah, but you can get rid of that now. Now you can just go.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is another default.
This is the whole defaults lifestyle thing. Is like, not only am I eliminating 2 note-taking apps, I'm eliminating a whole other app. I get a bonus app elimination. Now,
rationalization. Okay. We call that rationalization. We're rationalizing your whole thing there. So
now, y'all will know when I've really gone defaults lifestyle when I start using the mail app. That's going to be when the crazy stuff happens. But yeah, I saw in a screenshot on one of these. I don't know. I'm a tech person talking about tech stuff. Like a screenshot, someone had the icon for the Hey mail app, and I was thinking. I think I've mentioned this before, but I feel like one day, if I can, it's 2 stages. One day, if I can start using Hey as my mail, I will have come to some sort of like personal life productivity nirvana, where I can just like be mindful and cut things out. But then beyond that, I mean, that's just sort of like earthly kind of, whatever. But like the true, like beyond bodhisattva sort of thing is I just use an iCloud email address. Just if I can make my life work with that.
Full on surrender.
Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. That's too far. Now, but you mentioned Hey email. So should we say, did they ultimately win with the new ruling? Now they don't have to do the mandatory, they can do the sign up. You can sign up, have the sign up link that just goes off. So I mean, I guess they didn't really participate in the lawsuit. I guess Epic Games did the heavy lifting.
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff I've been reading about the rundown is that nobody's happy. Nobody won.
But isn't that like a sign of a good compromise? You're like, no, I feel like this was good for the end users. I felt like, well, at least now we get links to sign up for stuff, right? Like, which I think probably everyone listening to this podcast probably figured out they could just go to the web and do it. But I think for a lot of people, it's like, yeah, it would be nice to like, how do I sign up for Netflix? We'll just click this button and go to the web.
Yeah,
do it. I think that was a small victory for, I don't know, the users, the people.
No, none of that ever made sense. It was all stupid. There's all these cavetting about user experience and stuff. Like, no, just stupid. Like, try again. And just like, and the ultimate stupidity of it is just like, in Kindle, there's no acknowledgement that you can just buy a book, right? Which is sort of like if you went to a bookstore and they were like, "Oh, what do you mean price?" No, you don't, and so you would say like, "Can I just leave with this book?" And they'd say, "No." So what would I do if I couldn't tell you what you would have to do if you wanted this? You can read the first 10 pages. I don't even know the concept that you're going over. What that might be, and it's just like. That's always been the fucking.
But did this ever? I was thinking about this. Is that maybe it's just I like Apple, so I'm a fan. So I don't know. I guess do I just give them some goodwill? It's like, yeah, it's been annoying, but it's never like I never got mad about it, right? But I was thinking like I had to do something with my. I use DirecTV. We'll live, and I'll just say like I hate DirecTV. Like I'm a hostage to DirecTV, right? Everything they do makes me angry, but I still pay the money, and it's just like maybe it's just that easy. It's like if you get enough goodwill, then and maybe I was just like. In that on the line, I have a lot of Apple goodwill, so I'm just like, it's fine, we can work around it. Whereas other people that I'm paying money to, I'm just intolerant. They do anything that they do, just makes me angry. Anything the DirecTV does, I'm just mad. I'm just angry.
You're not ready to. You're not ready for the DirecTV default lifestyle.
I can't even when I've tried, because that's the whole other range.
That's just prison.
Even when you're trying to do the default thing, they just like won't like, hey, send me a new receiver. I'll just pay for it. I can't do that. You're like, what? But I just hate them. But I was like, but I still send them money. So I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm sure like the legal mumbo jumbo like makes it narrow enough to only apply to this, but like it does set an interesting, if only like conversationally, like anti-rent seeking precedent. And by rent seeking, what I mean is like, you own a limited portal into or supply of something, and like you don't really produce anything or do anything valuable, and yet you charge a high premium for it. I think that's what people mean in the pejorative sense of rent seeking. And so like, people who innovate are always like, oh, we spent all this money to establish this environment, and so we get to charge a piece of it. It's like typical, like, 100-year-old copyright stuff that you put all this money into this thing, so therefore you should benefit from it. But it seems like if we're saying that charging, I don't know who we is, 30% of a price is not acceptable in a marketplace like this. I mean, there's a lot of marketplaces that charge 30% or more to be a middleman and transact in there. And that would be amazing if there was some sort of legal work that suddenly went into, at least in the States, I don't know what happens down under there with the fellas and whatnot, but like, like maybe you start to get to some precedent of like, if Apple can't charge 30% for its marketplace, then what other marketplaces out there, digital or analog, also can't charge 30% or can't suggest that you should go somewhere else to buy it. So like if I go to HEB, and on the pack of the Frito thing, on my Fritos, it says, scan this QR code and you can buy this chip at a 10% discount shipped in 2 hours to your house. Like, I'm sure HEB would be like,
no, we can't
right?
do that. You're not allowed to do that.
and so like, I think we got to pay close attention to this because there might be some other savings.
Now, to be clear, though, I guess that's fine. They didn't. The judge really only ruled in favor of Epic on that one thing. What they call it? It's like the reader apps can now like redirect people to go sign up.
Right.
But the whole the in-payment stuff, and I guess this is another thing is like my exposure to Epic games is mostly through Fortnite, mostly through my son. And every time I'm in there, I'm like, I don't really like this. Like, there's just stuff everywhere. So that's another thing. It's
virtual currencies,
yeah,
and
like
NFTs,
Epic games.
And
like,
you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, because they're like, we want to have our own app store inside there. I'm like, I don't know. I don't like it. I just like it's already kind of confusing as it is now. And we're buying a lot of virtual goods. And so again, like if I had more sympathy, whereas I do, like when I finally got to be able to buy audiobooks and Audible, I can just use the credit. It was like a miracle. I was like, oh, this is so great. So maybe if it was like Amazon, I'd be like, oh yeah, Audible. But like, do I care about the virtual gear that my children can buy in Fortnite? No. fact, I want less of that. So that's why it's like they're not like a sympathetic foe to me, right?
You know what? Maybe I should investigate this, but I'm always having to buy like the fucking Roblox and some bullshit.
Right, another one. Yeah, exactly. Right, you don't want a Roblox store. Like, no, make it harder to buy stuff in there.
And maybe this exists, but I haven't found it. But I wish in all the screen control kid thing, I could just give my kids an account, right?
Allowance.
And just say like, you get $10 a month in your dumbass Roblox account, and you can choose to spend it or not. Because what I've realized, and I realize this is like a whatever, is like, it's not so much that like I'm annoyed at my son spending money on like hats or hatchets or whatever it is he spends this money on. It's that like he has to interrupt me to like send a request, and I've got to approve the request, and I got to make sure that, and sometimes it doesn't work. Like for many years, doing this in Minecraft for some reason just didn't work, and you'd have to go turn this off and do that. And like if I could just say like, you have an allowance of $10 a month and I don't have to think about it again for 15 years, then like I think I would be super cool with it.
But I think that's what what Epics and Roblox, that's kind of what they're saying. It's like because they can't implement their own in-payment system, right? Yeah. They're like, well, we got to use this Apple thing, or we got to pay, or it's going to be more money to you because you have to.
I think maybe this will light a fire under the designers at Apple. Like instead of like working on Apple Fitness or whatever it is they're doing over there, right. Like they could say like, what if we, instead of the 30%, we took like the Visa MasterCard thing. We're like, we are only going to charge like 1 to 3% transactions. But instead, we are going to establish the one currency that drives all parents crazy, right? Yeah. Like you're going to have like Apple Bucks that you can spend if the designers
we're talking
that you can spend in anything.
Yes. In any game, I give you money and you just spend it in
any game. And so like it actually
now we're talking. I mean, I don't want to say Bitcoin, but like if we can work that in here and we can solve this problem. We've got a use case. I'm getting behind.
Somehow Apple makes the transaction fees cheaper than the ones that the companies and other people use, so that they stop having their V-Bucks and their Robux and their Minecraft coins, and they just all use the Apple
100% in favor of this. Get it done, Coté. Write a white paper, issue some coins on some.
Now, do they use a in their 6-page memos at Apple? Do you have to do it in calligraphy? How does it work out?
It could take a while. It probably would take a lot of designing.
They're using Helvetica.
I like it though. I like it. Well, the other news from Apple that we should talk about is quickly: did everyone update their devices? This was actually quite a nasty little 0-day exploit. So I guess I read it was like a bad a corrupted PDF or something, just by like sending a corrupted PDF. I was like, woof. So I immediately thought of Matt Ray. One, I thought of like, wow, this is sort of like the stuff Matt always talks about. And then two, I was like, wow, I wonder how many more of these exist that we don't know about. That's what I was really concerned about.
Now, I thought we'd solve this a while ago, that you just run everything in a container, and like it's isolated in a sandbox. Like
I love it. I remember that's the default slide. I want iMessage in a container on my iPhone. Completely. There you go. Now we're talking.
I feel like when I was working on strategy at Dell, we did a little security project, and there was just this notion that you just run stuff in a sandbox and then everything's cool. I mean, what happened to that? You can't just run stuff in a sandbox?
I don't know. Just gotta get Apple's got to get on
it. You got to be able to copy and paste stuff across your sandboxes. And
man. And you got to be the rich copy.
I don't know. I'm sorry if somebody's done it. As soon as we got Kubernetes on iOS, we know it's gone too far. We know that would be the last thing.
Yeah, maybe we're working on it. Maybe our friend JJ can do that. That should be JJ and Paul, and the No SSH JJ and Tasty Meets Paul. Their next challenge for their Twitch stream is to like
that does sound like something IBM would do. They made a big pitch to get everything on iOS. Well,
of course, they'll have to have COBOL in it, right? They'll have a COBOL container going.
They need to like use Helm and Ansible to deploy like some CNCF Kubernetes thing onto somewhere. Like that's
Apple is strangely not showing up at KubeCon to pitch iOS as the next generation platform. So
someone here, one of our listeners recommended, like, really what you need is to open every single message in its own container, right? To just make sure, right? Yeah. That would be a perfect usability thing. Yes, we're spinning up a container for every individual message. So
maybe I want to take that a step further. Maybe every single pixel should be its own device.
There we go. Just keep going. There we go.
And it's you just we'll see.
All right. Well, I think we should round out the Apple news because we're on the cutting edge with all of this. We should. I think we brought in our expert reviewer. Mr. Apple himself. Matt Ray, give us your definitive Apple MacBook M1 because you've had it probably for like 4 or 5 months, right?
Yes.
And that's what we do on this cover. We cover the latest news 6 months later. Okay. So now that you've had it, like where are you at? Is it good? Should we get one?
Yeah. There are still growing pains with the M1 MacBook Air. Surprisingly, there are still issues.
What are your top
somewhere issues? I made a list of like someone was asking, in like a developer channel, hey, should I get an M1 Mac? And I was like, here are the 5 things I've run into. And the things were mostly like software that didn't support the M1 ARM yet. So for example, Terraform. I was using it and I had to compile my own Terraform because HashiCorp wasn't shipping it, or I was burning SD cards for some embedded devices and the software.
Okay, that one. Okay, 1 is legit. 2 does not matter. Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. Monitor control. That app that you use, Coté, for controlling your monitor volume and brightness.
Switch things.
They shipped M1 support last week.
Oh, I forgot to install that on my new machine.
All right, monitor control. So that one's not an issue anymore. Okay, so
that's the thing. Like things are slowly getting knocked down.
All right, give me your last 2. Docker. I think so.
Docker. I was building containers, and I was like, "How come this shit won't run?"
We're not using Docker. Everyone's getting off it now, right? Aren't we going to
the no? It's defaults lifestyle.
Okay, all right. So Docker, that's a big
different defaults lifestyle.
Good.
I thought they released it though. I thought they had
the thing is like.
Now that we're all paying for it, you think we get M1 support, right? I mean, come on.
No, it's there. It's there, but it's not the default, right? So, I was just building containers and they weren't working. And it's because it was building ARM64 containers.
Docker, those are legit issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
but
how about PowerPoint?
Does PowerPoint work okay? You just have to know the workarounds. That's the thing it's a lot of knowing what the workarounds are instead of wasting, 2 or 3 hours.
Stuff. PowerPoint, Excel.
That stuff rocks.
All right,
it's blazing fast.
All right,
everything is fast. It's never hot. No fans. I'm still having external monitor issues. Like the
you
M1
can only have one monitor, right? You can't go the dual monitor.
You get one monitor with the MacBook Air.
I got another monitor now. Now I gotta wait. I gotta wait.
You have 2 monitors?
I got 2 monitors now, right here. 1, 2. Yep, so I'm in.
Oh my gosh.
I've got, if you include my laptop, I've got 3 monitors going.
Wow. Okay. It only does.
Let me. I don't think I have anything confidential.
No, don't show it, Coté. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, you do. Yes. There are some issues.
All right, give me your
M1 video.
How many out of trouble 5 stars? How many stars out of 5? Michelin
4
star rating. 4 stars.
4. Yeah, somewhere there.
That's pretty high. Actually, I think that's pretty high from you. So
it's amazing hardware, but the things that I'm finding are like, the edge cases that's where I hang out, right? It's like I can't drive my 4K monitor at 60 hertz. I can only do it at 30 hertz. And my my Windows PC runs at 4K no problem. So the video card is a little flaky at high resolutions. And only does one monitor. Yeah.
It seems like really good video would be part of the point.
That's why people are mad.
Huh.
and Apple's answer is like, can you check your cord? And I went through like 4 different video cables.
Can you check your cord?
Yeah. Apparently, like they were blaming cords. And you know what? The shitty thing is I got slightly better results when I did change cords. But then it was like, it was still kind of flaky at high resolution. So I'm only running at like, 3096 instead of 4K. Which is also fine because, I can't read that small anyway.
Well, here's, I hadn't thought about it until you put in these words, Matt Ray, but here's my thoughts on Apple and cords. I showed you that I have multiple monitors and I've tried multiple times. And as they say, I don't want emails because I've read the stuff. I tried multiple times to like daisy chain USB-C, whatever appropriate type. And it just like never works. Meanwhile, Dell has had like DisplayPort forever that just like, works. And like, for fuck's sake, just hire the Dell person who figured that out and like make it work on Apple's. Like it should not be a problem. And so like, I think when it comes to chords, Apple's a little fucked in the head. They need whoever the VP of chords is, maybe they should go on some summer retreat in California, just figure it out and just kind of come back refreshed and be like, I figured it out, man. Like chords should be cheap and easy. That's what we're going to do. We introduced the Apple Bucks. We a whole new world right there. And now it's going to be chords. Chords are next.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went from like, my standard HDMI cable to a new USB-C to HDMI cable to a USB-C to DisplayPort cable to a $50 Belkin USB-C to HDMI cable. And I would get slightly better results as I went higher and higher up the price point for cables, but eventually it was like, it still flickers at 4K at 60 hertz, and it was just
check your cord. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So it's that we need to get Brandon. Can you arrange getting that Apple's VP of chords on? I think we need to ask some questions.
All right, perfect. Let me write that down. Oh, we kind of went deep there on the chords. I didn't quite see that.
I wasted too much time trying to get better results on my monitor, and then of course my optometrist was like, "Yeah, above 30 hertz doesn't matter."
Well, I just Brian in the chat was saying it too. It's like I can't I think you made the same comment. Like I can't a 4K. I can't I just can't use it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can't use 4K.
I can't see it. So to me, it's either you go. I like the fact these monitors I just got here. I guess what do you call it? 2K or quad HD or what QHD? It's like whatever. It's the lower than 4K.
Yeah.
Like you either got to go that level or you got to go 5K where it just like doubles everything, right? And you can just it's like super crisp.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So I think I'm at quad or whatever.
Yeah, I think quad HD. If you can't go to 5K, then don't leave quad HD or whatever it's called. So,
well, and that's the thing.
Same resolution is the same usable resolution, just sharper, right?
Yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah, that's what we all need. But there's to get to 5K, it's like a lot more money and then a lot more hardware, right? So. Yeah, I don't know. The multiple monitors, I have to say, now I got the two set up. I'm like, I would miss it. Because I have the Mac Mini. The Mac Mini's got the HDMI port and it's really
Did you get the M1 Mac Mini?
No, this is the old
one. Oh, because the M1 Mac Mini's got the same problem as the Air.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm letting you do it. That's why I want you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I want you. That's why we're waiting for the M1X, the next set of Apple devices. Maybe fix
it's going to be great.
So, more money.
We're introducing the M1 version 2. We call this one "It Works."
Although I've heard people, it seems like people really like it.
It's just like I would only get it to like have better not only, but I would be interested in like the video processing and all the like. Audio
it seems like that would be
faster.
Better. It does seem like
that probably is better.
What do you use to do your video editing? Are you like an Adobe guy or what are you doing?
Oh, right now I used a script. I don't really do much editing.
Oh, you like that
at all? No, you must edit those videos a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, but
stuff like.
Well, okay, that's true. But like,
hold on, let me interrupt you. Hey, if you want to learn how to do new stuff, go visit our friends at CVT Nuggets. Go out there and they've got classes on all kinds of stuff. So continue on. How do you do the editing? How do you do the?
So I use the script pretty much now, and it works out well. And if I really want to do like some,
but how do you do the backgrounds? You have like stuff in the back.
That's just a green screen. If you get it, I'm still waiting for one to ship to me. It's coming later in September because I've gone through the official VMware channels. So it's taking 3 months. But if you have a green screen, then you use OBS and you do a chroma key on OBS and you can
but you're just doing all that live. That's all live.
Yes, exactly. That's what
render and ship.
Yeah. I still like using LumaFusion, but I use the script at the moment. Maybe I should go back to using LumaFusion.
All right, Coté, here's a little homework for you. At some point in the distant future, when you have, I don't know, when you want to, like, how can we make part of this YouTube video? So it's what is it, portrait, right? So we can put a TikTok, right? That's the only social media network we don't have. So, but we'd have to have like a little clip. I don't know how to do it. I have to like learn how to. We'd have to edit the video so it's in, I'm talking the portrait for the kids, for the, they like to watch it that way. So
in portrait.
Yeah. But you see, like this video we have here, it's like maybe it should just be the chat. We should just have the
what
chat.
We need to do
that would be
we need to all go like this, and then you can just rotate.
No, that's making me sick. I don't think that's gonna
make sure we get the right direction.
Maybe there's like another, I don't know. We'll have to maybe I'll send that into Restream. We need some type of like iOS portrait kind of view. So
that's good. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna finish up. Okay, we did all the ads. So what?
Let's talk about remote work. I think that will be something.
All right, we'll work and then we're done. Right.
It's been a long day.
Long day. My day is just starting.
Well, at least it's not ending because of an asteroid.
Wow. I did see a big comet hit Jupiter. Well, at least it wasn't us.
No, Jupiter's got it coming.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't get a chance to dig into the details because I'm not a scientist, but there's a new study out, a collaboration between Microsoft and some scientist people. And it looks like, now I didn't quite understand the Ars Technica summary, or I shouldn't say I didn't understand it. It was just a highlight. So I read a little bit of the abstract for this, and it looks like it's a study of remote work. And I don't know, I'm not going to go over the methodology because let's just assume it's cool. There's like, multiple tens of thousands of data points based on something great. So it's, it's not just like what my grad students in second semester told me, in 10-minute sessions I had with them and gave them $5, which are my favorite type of studies. Or mice in cages, that kind of thing. But it looks like the finding of the effect of remote work on productivity, yes. I would call it a draw, but let me go over what they did. Is that it's almost, if I were to summarize it, that the findings were that communication is affected, and kind of like the warmth of collaboration is effective, and the most describable effect, at least in far that I read, is that people are more siloed in their group. So there's less cross business and cross group and cross BU collaboration than you would get normally, which I guess, intuitively that makes sense because you run into less people. It's also easier to avoid dumbass meetings that have multiple people in it, right? All sorts of things. You can really, as I think a lot about nowadays, you can really only focus on doing your work instead of getting pulled into other work. Like I was talking with someone that I know. Otherwise, it'd be odd for me to talk with them. But I was talking with someone that I know, and they were talking about some meetings that they get involved in, which is just like these big, gigantic company initiatives. And it reminded me, I've managed my career for the past many years, to avoid this. But I'm sure maybe you two are still suffering from this, and I do every now and then. But it's this person was stuck in that series of meetings that are about the meetings, where you're planning out the program and who's going to do what, and it's just like it's not even that this meeting could have been an email. It's that we all knew what we were going to decide 6 months ago, and we should have just written that in a 1-page Word document and started working on it. So, I mean, I have to. Well, maybe it's not the case, but I wonder if there's less of that goes on. I don't know. Now, the other thing that happened in these findings, I think, was that, and this is the part that was very qualitative, but it did get me thinking, is that this is the thing that I really wanted to talk about that got me thinking, is that it seems like the people who are interested in work-life balance, a large amount of them said that the working remotely was better for that, that they favored it for it, which I can see. It's kind of like that would sort of make sense. And yet, I think from a managerial standpoint, and I would believe this, that sort of worker productivity in aggregate goes down if you have remote working, just for whatever reasons, right? But then I was thinking about, there's some company we were talking about earlier that has, and of course this is all just on paper, but it has a $40 billion valuation. And as far as I can tell, it's like a really good version of Adobe Spark, which is a fine app. It's a good app. Or like, it allows you to like do branding and stuff. But like, I feel like in like, if we have with phrases like worker productivity and worrying about that, like if we're in this kind of this headwinds, tailwinds, the winds world of business, and companies can be valued at $40 billion, right? And then also executives are paid millions and millions of dollars. Like maybe we shouldn't be so productive, because it feels like this productivity, like we're not getting, like that money is accruing to other people. Now, I don't want to be like a Marxist or whatever, but like
I was not expecting the workers unite and take the power angle.
No. Let me. This is maybe Lebowski Marxism. Is like I neither want to unite nor take the power. I just want to relax, right? So like these urges that we should, that working remotely is lowering worker productivity and might be affecting shareholder value. It's just like, I don't know, like that sounds like a lot of work that I don't get anything for, right? So like, why would I be concerned, right? Like, seems like things are pretty cool, man. Like maybe these executives that are getting paid tons of money, or these companies that are valued higher, they should up their productivity and like, to kind of like match the compensation that they get. Because my sense is that given the overall increase in GDP, and I'm sure Brandon tracks this closely, the rising S&P like value. I mean, I think S&P. There you go, S&P value. I think maybe us workers are being pretty fucking productive, and it might be time for us to lose some productivity, and it'll be fine.
Right,
like, or maybe share more of the fruits of our labor.
Right.
Well, no. But this is my point. Is like those look like expensive fruits. Like I'm cool with the fruits I got.
Like I don't want more fruits in my labor. I just want less labor.
I got so much fruit literally in the kitchen that I got to throw it out often, right?
So like piles of wood and piles of fruit. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, good callback, Matt Ray.
And so I say inside of your whole description there, I mean, I think maybe the question you're just asking, and I think this is the question I have when I see these services, it just seems like, how do you measure productivity? And like, that just seems like the hardest part of all of this is like, what does it mean to be, and to your point about like, well, I mean, that's, the government or, economists just like, they just look at GDP, which is sort of just like this, formula you can look up, and it's pretty simple to calculate. And so I don't know, is that's a good measurement of productivity or not? And then when you get inside these studies, that's to me always the biggest question. It's like, what does it mean? Like I went to a lot of meetings. Am I productive or unproductive? Like I did a lot of emails. Am I productive, unproductive? Like I just read some stuff and I was thinking about it, or I did some tutorials to like teach myself the latest, greatest, in this case, Azure service. Was that productive or unproductive? It's like, I don't know. Like it feels very much in the eye of the beholder of like the activities. Because I think many times, I'm going to speak, an attempt to speak for all employees. I think many times you are doing a task that must be done to get paid, but you do not feel that is important, right? I mean, I think that happens to probably everyone at some point. So like, what does that mean? Is that productive?
Yeah. So, that's what we got going on there. Like, I don't know. I feel like decrease in worker productivity, probably not a big deal. I mean, if all those people like at the Met Gala are worried about like, all the wealth going to the top 1%, then like, I don't know. I guess it damages their net worth, but like,
because you asked this question,
then we get to relax.
Is this whole survey or this whole study, could you reframe it this way and just say, is the question maybe being asked is more, is it easier to manage a large workforce remotely or on-prem, or have them work in an office? Like, I feel like maybe that's I feel like that's the real question. And I think that's a valid question, right? I think that would be, I have to manage, my organization's 50,000 people. I have to create a management structure such that that the people can be managed and stuff like that. Like if someone said to me, it is easier to manage a group of people if they're on site, I would be like, I get that. And maybe that's the fundamental tension, right? It's like managing it is easier, but the people working in it don't like it as much. And so I feel like that's like a healthy conversation. I don't know. This other conversation, it's like, it just feels very like fluffy to me. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. And I mean, to your point, if we were to be less snarky about it, or if I were, like, I think if there is a deficiency found in remote working versus, let's call it on-premise or on-premises, we could have that debate, or working, then it's probably, I think a large part of it is just down to like tools and practices, right? Like, you know, I mean, if you can't, there's so much email out there and so many other tools, all these tools exist, and you should probably be able to figure out being like profitable in a business without having to be face to face. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's some things where like it is, I don't know. Like I still am not really sold on the idea that the only way to achieve success with creative endeavors is to be, you know, in person. Like, I feel like a lot of progress is always made when you're not actually in person. Not always, but it's possible. And so like we get too fixated on having to be in person for things. And also, you know, there's lots, I was talking with someone earlier today, and there's also lots of waste in being in person, right? Like there's a guy, I mean, he's a guy who's a dad of at the school, and he was saying, you know, he went back into the office recently, and he'd forgotten like all the other stuff that you have to do. Like when you're working from home, you just click that big leave the meeting button and you're done. Whereas when you're like at work, like the meeting's over and you're like, oh, everyone's still here.
I hung up on you people.
And, like, everyone's still there, and then you got to like walk out of the room and you talk with people and you do this and like,
it's
and
like
there's
the chit chat. Yeah. The whole,
I mean, I don't know, maybe I wasn't contributing enough to the you know, the GDP, but like, I feel like I've fucked around just as much, if not more, at work when I was in person than at home. And, if you were to ask my family, am I goofing off at home? They would be like, no, that asshole needs to come spend time with us. I mean, they wouldn't say asshole, but like, you know, it just seems
when they get older.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that there's the proper tools aren't in place, and that it's probably like a net neutral thing if you have at least good tools and practices in place from working remotely versus working at home. Now, that said, I am eager we have some brand new offices here in Amsterdam. And I have been thinking it would be an interesting experiment to go there and see like if I'm more productive because I can control my urge to like goof off and go do things, in the sense of like, you know, I feel like I'm sitting here and my shirt is pretty tight. And I think it's because I go and eat every now and then, like, and I eat too much. So if I was in an office and we didn't have good snacks, then like, I think I would maybe be healthier. So there's like all these other things that I need to sort out. And maybe I could get power cords, things, and pins.
Better USB cables, better monitor cables.
Yeah. That's going to be the Apple's VP of cord strategies. Like, check it out. Get
everyone back in the office.
My dudes,
hit up their enterprise sales.
Once people get in the office, they're going to have to update their cords. So I'm going to blow your mind. What if following our Apple Buck strategy, instead of them being expensive, we were the world's highest quality, cheapest purveyor of cords, and we destroyed the cord market by being the only ones available? It'll be like the Walmart mom and pop model.
Cords as a service.
We will dominate the cord market. And I think that that's what they need to go for. So since you're the CEO, Brandon, after our successful PE firm, I think we need to start a strategy task force for kind of taking over Apple. So we'll roll our PE firm, our profits into an Apple acquisition.
Got it.
Because I feel they're too inefficient.
I feel like there's some unrealized bit that they could be gaining there. With cords.
We'll get on it.
Well, I think we've covered all of the interesting news since last episode. Do we have any bureaucracy to cover, Brandon?
We do. I want to thank Mike. He wrote in, and he is in China. So he asked for me to send some stickers. So I don't. It's as far as I can remember, first time I've ever sent stickers to China. So hope Mike, I hope you get it. It's great to hear from you. Also sent some stickers to I believe it's pronounced Anders in Sweden, or I don't know. That could be pronounced a lot of different ways. So happy to send both of them stickers. And if you want a sticker, all you have to do is send your postal address to stickers@softwaredefinedtalk.com, and I will be happy to send you a sticker anywhere in the world. And now I really mean it. If those stickers get to China, then I think we did it. I think we've got it almost everywhere that I can think of. Also want to thank Dan. He sent a link in of a flame throwing robot. And as everyone, avid listeners will know, I have a flamethrower to kill weeds, but now there's a robot that can do the job. So what could possibly go wrong?
Give robots flamethrowers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a video, you can watch it. I mean,
this is only for lawn care. It'll only ever be used for lawn care.
Right. I mean, you can think of it's hard to think of any potential downsides, but it exists now. So there you go. Have that. Also wanted to Matt, not Matt Ray, another Matt. Matt wants you to work at GitHub, and they're hiring both senior and non-senior roles. So what you can do is you can go into the Slack, you can go in the jobs channel. You can check out the links there. You can check them out in the show notes. And you probably, if you Slack Matt, he'll probably tell you about the job, tell you if it's good, what it means.
If you Slack me, I'll tell you about some jobs too.
GitHub is remote. I think they're fully remote. I don't know. Maybe not. I think they are. So if that's important to you, I'm pretty sure you can do it. But if I said it and it's wrong, that's a reason for you to go talk to Matt. And I guess Matt Ray, you have jobs? We're
hiring as maybe you saw on the Twitters, we had an engineering offsite in Kyrgyzstan. So, come work remote with us, and we'll meet. I think the next one might be in Istanbul. So we'll see how that goes.
What are you talking about, Matt Ray?
Well, so we have a fair number.
Doesn't make any sense. Is this English you're speaking?
Exactly, it's great. No, we have a fair number of engineers in Europe. I mean, our engineering is actually headquartered in Europe. And they were like, we should do an offsite. And they can't go to the US right now because of travel restrictions. And one of our engineers is in Kyrgyzstan, and he had sent some photos of visiting a lakeside resort. And they're like, let's go. And I wish I could have gone. It looked like a blast. They're hanging out.
I don't mean this to be insensitive, but I was reading about that game where you try to steal a dead goat from each other. And I think Kyrgyzstan.
That's Mongolia.
No. There's those countries. There's 4 or 5 countries clustered together over there that all play this sport, and it's you should read the Wikipedia entry on it. It's extensive. Yeah. And
I don't think they did that at the offsite. I think it was mostly laptops by the beach.
Yeah, they just.
All right, so Matt, yours is your chat. Matt, you should add to the show note. I think you did put some pictures up on Twitter or something, so you should put it up so everyone knows, because I actually didn't know where. Is it Kyrgyzstan? Am I saying it right? Yeah, I didn't know where that country was. So, but you should put a picture, because it sort of brings it to life. It's oh, this looks like a nice place. I would want to go.
Yeah.
If you just hear the name, you're like, I'm not sure I want to go there. I'm not sure where that country is. So, when I saw the picture,
I totally would have gone if I could leave my house. Thanks.
Yeah, it's true, Australia. Man. All right. And then the final piece, I just wanted to quickly thank or congratulate and thank Strong DM. They've been a long time sponsor, and they raised a ton of money in their latest series. So everyone should go support them. But more importantly, congratulations. They've been with us for a while, and it's impressive to see them grow. So that's it, Coté. That's the feedback.
Now I have not really a question, more of a comment type of comment here, and that is so going back to Sweden. I'm almost done with the Martin Beck series of police procedurals, which for people who have listened to me talk, it's very odd that I'm interested in these. But I'm reading one called Cop Killer. I don't know what it was titled in Sweden. But I've realized that I think about this a lot, and I wonder if this is some reflection of Swedish literary thinking. But you're reading this book about a mystery, and it goes on for let's say 5/8 of the book about this one mystery, and all of a sudden it switches to this other crime that seems totally unrelated that the book gets its title from. And then they just, at the end of it, they just wrap up this other crime they were originally doing. And it's just what the fuck happened in this book? This book was titled this one part that happens in 2/8 of the book. And then the whole rest of the book was about this other thing that has nothing to do with it. And I don't know, I need some guidance on what's going on with that narrative in book 8 of the Martin Beck crime series. And I don't know if it's some sort of Swedish mentality or something, but it has me very confused. So if anyone has some commentary on that, I would appreciate it. Now, if you're interested in commentary, you should join us in our Slack channel where we discuss all sorts of things, not like anything I just mentioned. But, we go over things we're going to talk about during the episode. If you go to softwaredefinedtalk.com/Slack, or you just click on the Slack link, you can join it. We have a newsletter we send out, and I don't know, we're everywhere. We stream our videos and Twitch and Twitter and all these places and things like that. And, we got all sorts of stuff. Now, we actually have a conference coming up I want to mention called Devops Loop that I've helped put together. So I think it's great. But more seriously, I've curated a lot of talks and kind of directed some speakers to talk about things that I'm very interested in hearing them do. It's on October 4th. It's totally free to register and online. It's if you go to devopsloop.io, you can register and you should sign up for it and check it out. Now with that, Brandon, what do you have to recommend this week?
All right, so this week I'm gonna try to channel some hallway track podcast talk here. So I got a grill for Father's Day, and so since then I've been trying to perfect my ability to grill a steak. So a friend of mine turned me on to this procedure, and before I say anything, if Tasty Meets Paul says this is not the right way to do it, I just want to be clear: you should follow his advice. But this is what I've been doing. It's called reverse searing a steak. So you basically take the steak, put it in the oven at about 200 degrees, let it sit for, about an hour, get it up to 120 degrees. Of course, all of this is Fahrenheit. I don't know any of the Celsius. You can do the math here on yourself. And then you take it and then you take it out to your grill, get your grill really, really hot. And then you essentially sear it for 1 minute each side and then 30 seconds on kind of the smaller sides, if you will. And I think it's fantastic. I think it is a great way to make a steak. And it's pretty easy. There's not a lot other than seasoning it, sticking it in the oven, and then the grill work is probably 5 minutes total. And I would say I felt like it's a steakhouse quality steak. And of course, the thing I learned here is to make a good steak, you just need to spend money, right? So if you spend the money on Choice, get better steaks, send it on Prime, get better steaks. So in this time of COVID, if you're not going out to eat as much like myself and you want to make yourself something very unhealthy and you have a grill, I would recommend this reverse searing a steak. So check that out.
Yeah, what I've tried that a few times and it is great. And what I really crave is that charcoal taste on steak. And it just seems like a lot of work to get all that charcoal going. So I wish there was some technology where you could take 1 or 2 charcoal briquettes and just kind of get them lit and get that essence of searing on there. Because boy, maybe it's just because I was raised eating steaks, cooked on charcoal, but that's the best.
Well, maybe something you can. I am searching for some advice. I don't know. I guess I'm not that confident to do this all just by touch or watch. I've gone to using the thermometer, right? So I would like someone. There's lots of different thermometers out there. So if someone has an opinion on, and I've been on the wire cutter, what's the because there's these Bluetooth one or what is it? Bluetooth. You can stick the probe in and just not have to do anything and just wait. But then people say that's not really good. So I use kind of the old fashioned one. So I don't know. Someone has figured out what is the best meat thermometer. Send it my way. I would like.
I like the Javelin one. That's the one that I used forever until it broke. You can't really buy it over here in Europe. So, but it was a good one. How about yourself, Matt Ray? What do you have to recommend?
So my youngest and I have been playing co-op video games. Going through. We obviously we played some Minecraft back in the day, and we played some Fortnite. Got tired of that. We recently moved on to Halo. Maybe you've heard of this.
Ooh, wow.
But Microsoft put out a 3 or 4 years ago the Master Chief Collection, where they took the first 6 Halo games and put them into a bundle, and for $40 you can get 6 co-op friendly games that. They're at the PG-13. They're not rated M level, so not too much blood, not too much language, and so it's okay to play with your 12 or 13-year-old if you're into first-person shooters. And we tore through one of those really fast and enjoyed it. Good bang for your buck.
At first, by co-op games, I thought you meant order 5 bags of beans and a box of toilet paper type of thing. But
yeah, no, Coté, we kept our clothes on. It's not that kind of co-op.
That's probably for the better. Well, my recommendation, while we're talking about Apple stuff, is when I do my little videos for over at Tanzu Talk, available at tanzutalk.com if you click on the videos link, I like to doodle on my iPad and use that. And you can hook it up into OBS, the way to broadcast stuff by cable. But I thought I would try like something new. And so you can actually install this thing called Air Server, which makes your computer an AirPlay receiver and therefore plays it on a window or your entire monitor on your computer, which it's one of those things that sort of like I have two reactions. I'm like, I don't understand why this isn't just in the operating system. And then number two, why would I ever want to do this? Which is probably why it's not in there. But it's handy if you've ever thought like I would like to broadcast AirPlay to my computer. You can just install Air Server. I don't know how much it costs, but they have a fully functional 30-day trial that you can use. And it works pretty well. It's a little, as the gamers say, laggy compared to hardwiring it in, but it works out well. So as always, this has been Software Defined Talk. If you want to check out past episodes, join our Slack channel, I don't know, whatever, all sorts of things, you can go to softwaredefinedtalk.com. Now, there's a lot of links and things we didn't talk about, links to those conferences, recommendations, other stuff. If you go to softwaredefinedtalk.com/320, you can find links to all those things. Or depending on what you're listening to, it's just right there in your podcast listener in the show notes. And with that, we'll see everyone next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thick veggies that can take charring.
Hey, well, sure enough, looks like somebody put the link that Paul sent. It says Wake Up Godfrey. So it's good. Like, yeah, he has a better website. So yeah, reverse sear steak. I guess I'm maybe the last to know on this, but like it's good. I don't know if it's healthy, but it's really good. Matt, you're still vegetarian, right? You're out on this, right? You're like, Matt has no opinion on any of this.
But no, I still got to give my, Hank Hill witticisms.
Although my son loves steak. It's like I don't know. I feel like a good parent because I'm like, at least you're getting a lot of protein. At least one day a week, you actually eat all this and not just do the carbohydrates. So I tell myself this. I don't know if it's really true or not, but whatever.
Yeah, boy, these steaks look good. This is like, I don't know if I've been over this, but I finally discovered why I don't like European meat. And that it's just like, it's healthy. Like, I mean, look at the steaks on this site. Like the problem, like if you go into a European grocery store, there's like no fat on the steaks. They're so lean. I don't get it.
Did you ever buy your steaks at Costco when you were here, Coté? I think they have.
For sure. They're fantastic.
They have some great deals. I was like, wow.
Good steaks. That's where you got to get them.
Good, definitely some good fillets in there. I highly recommend that. I don't know if that travels to other parts of the world. In Costco.
There you go. Shocking recommendation: buy steaks at Costco. We haven't had any Costco talk in a long time. Maybe we should.
Man. It's definitely worth it. So
that's how we can dominate TikTok, Brandon. We'll more Costco talk.
Yeah, I did a podcast survey the other day. They were like, they're just taking something else. And they're like, which social medias are you on? And I was like, I got to check everything except TikTok. I'm like, all right, mission. They've given us the mission. This is the last one. We're on everything else. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of it. So I don't know how we're going to do it.
Well, you should, you're the only, well, I guess there's a Costco outside of Paris I've heard of, but you got to start the TikTok thing where you're all like, hey, everybody, I'm here in Costco. I'm going to go check out the deal on Pilot G2 rollerball pins.
Already exists. There's a whole bunch of people. We got to bring something unique, right?
Hey, if we're shipping stickers to China, we need to get on the Baidu tip.
Yeah, I don't
know about that one. I don't even know.
That can just be part of.
Was this a dumb question? I had to look up. Like, could I send? I was like today. I was like, can I send mail to China? Like, I don't know. I was like, is something going to happen? And yes, the answer. Then I thought, like, is this a stupid question? Like, should I have just known that? Like, of course you can send mail to China. You just like write it down, and it just. I don't know. So.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever done it, but yeah, no, the Costco TikTok's already dominated, so we don't have that avenue. We got it. Like we're very niche, so we got to like somehow kind of cross over tech, Costco. I don't know. There's a lot of weird trends.
How about if
I feel like we're least prepared for TikTok though. I feel like our content is the absolute hardest to make it TikTok friendly.
No way.
I don't know what we would do.
We can excise like 30-second rants out of all parts of our podcast.
Right. But like, but that's the thing. It's like even these, even getting them out. And I don't even know like how to edit. Like, could we edit this into like a format that would actually make sense? I don't know. Like, we need some kind of stack format in here in Restream. Like, maybe it's this one. No, I don't want to be very good.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Or maybe what's this? Is this good? No, that's not good.
Oh yeah,
this one. No. I don't know. I just can't. Like I said, I don't think we have a good.
There we go. Yeah.
All right, I'll open a ticket with Restream that we need a TikTok, like
view
aspect ratio.
Now listen. This is. I know you're trying to figure out a TikTok strategy, but maybe we go the opposite. And what we do is we have the Twitch strategy, right?
Okay.
Now, we got this new person on our team, Layla, and she's great at Twitch, and she has convinced me that the perfect Twitch format is 90 minutes or more, right? Wow. Like, and she did kind of like a unscientific survey. A lot of people just like the stuff in the background. So I think what we should do is.
But are we doing Twitch? We're on Twitch right now. Are we not?
Well, hold on. We gotta get some chill music, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna get Matt Ray to like read like a 500-page book about Knative, and that's gonna be it. He's just gonna be sitting there.
I'm interviewing the Knative book.
You're gonna just hear pages turning, like, and then every now and then he'll get out a pencil and like take some notes, and that's gonna be the whole thing. And then maybe Brandon, you and I are going to be like the color commentators. We'll just sit there and like our job is to talk for 4 hours straight about what's happening.
Well, I need to go look at her channel again and see what has really but she's a developer, but she's developing, right? She's like
yeah.
See, I don't know, that doesn't count then. Like that's what I mean, I guess the challenge to her, anyone would be like, okay, you can't write any code. Now
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't do it.
Well, that's what we are. Like, I mean, we're not like, I'm not.
You want to watch me edit a podcast or edit a blog?
Oh, I thought about that. Like maybe editing the podcast. That would be funny.
I've done that.
I should just live stream the entire editing process. Just me.
Yeah,
sitting there and be like, I don't like that.
Well, review comments.
Interrupted again. I have to cut him out again. That would just be me talking to myself.
I've done that. I did a stream of me editing a video, and like I'm not.
Editing a blog where I'm picking in. Google comments and like, seriously, is it multi-cloud or multi-cloud? Does it have a hyphen or not? What's the style guide say? How come we don't have a style guide?
Oh, style guide. That's good. Yeah. So maybe that's what we need to expand into. I mean, you have to have the music. So we got to sort that out. Now, luckily,
I think we can play music in here right now. I think we can.
Oh yeah. But you've got so Restream has some music, which is great. Yep. But I have a Storyblocks account that has all sorts of music you can use.
And it's royalty free, or we won't be sued?
Or it's paid for, right? Like I paid for Storyblocks. So like it's licensed, so you can pay that. That's what I use.
That means we could play it on this channel?
Right. And then we just have to come up with like, you've got to have like 90 minutes to like 4 hours of just content where you're just sitting there doing something. I feel like
that's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to...
and I put a lot of thought into this, and the problem is, right? Maybe not a lot, is that like so much of what I'm doing like during the day, like I can't like share with people, right? Mm-hmm. Like I would love to be able to like, oh, here's some work that I'm not love to at all, but like one could say like, I'm putting together a presentation doing this work, but then it's like, oh, I got to go search for this thing in email. I've got to go look on our intranet for that thing. And like, you can't expose all that stuff. So whatever you're doing has to be all public knowledge, right? Like it can't be anything like secret. And that's, I don't know.
Well, it's hard to get that. I'm working on some not secret stuff. Does anybody want to watch me write a solution brief for IBM DB2 as a source for Knative? Because after I write that, 3 or 4 page solution brief, after I do the solution brief, I'll condense it down to like a 1-page blog post, and then I'll do a screencast.
Now that see that you've got 3 assets right there. 1,
exactly,
the broadcasting of the whole thing. 2, the other 2.
4 is the broadcasting, because it's a solution brief, a blog post, a screencast, and now the Twitch stream.
See, look, and now this person's offering, we can go to bigfollowers.com. I don't know if the space is part of the URL.
I don't think it is. I think that might trigger them getting
followers.
banned and blocked.
We can definitely do that. But
I don't know. I think I don't know. I feel like the solution brief. Like, are you really going to be typing it? Like, I mean, are you going to be like the first, like, because that would be pretty boring. You like writing and then deleting.
Yeah, like, I mean, the key is once you've got like a couple solution briefs under your belt, you just like copy and paste from like the others to start yours, and then you tailor the content.
This is why the music is important, right?
Okay,
like
so
you also have music that you just have in the background, and every now and then Matt Ray's like, oh, I guess I don't use a hyphen here. And you're like, oh, that was interesting.
I guess if you talked out loud while you're writing it, you're like, okay, I'm gonna write the introduction, I'm gonna edit, here's the template. Like, I guess you have to really like talk it through, right? I don't like the way that sounds. I think you should do it, man. I'll watch it. Oh, I'm in.
There you go.
I'm in. Let's do it. Put it on the YouTube channel. I'm still not to my 100 viewers, so we can get our own custom URL. That's what we're waiting for. We're only I think we're like 60 away. So let's go. All right, let's see. Well, thanks to all the streamers who watched. I kind of lost track. Were there any important questions? Anyone see anything that we should have said?
I think we commented on most of the good stuff.
You got everything? That's good.
Questions.
I don't know. Questions, comments. Everyone agrees Costco steaks where it's at. So there you go. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Gonna end the stream.